All right, Seahawks are back where we belong, and you can see it right here. All right, all right, all right. Cardinals lose, Rams lose, and 49ers lose, and those last two lost quite badly. And we're gonna about to get into it. Adam, how you doing?
I'm feeling great because why? Seahawks are number one in the NFC West all over again.
Yep, and here are the standings right here. You could tell it's a very tight division, if to put it nicely, but we are where we are, and
Yeah,
so we're gonna celebrate.
as of today, literally every game is split as of today.
Yeah, literally.
Either
And
you're
yeah,
0-1, one in no, you're either 0-1, 1-4, some are 1-4. But in terms of like other with the other teams, definitely it's all split down the middle. And I
perfect.
love being on top.
Yeah, oh yeah, and this might be one of those situations where whoever the only representative from the NFC West might be the division winner. So it is a race that
hmm
matters. But we're gonna get right into it. Seahawks played Cardinals this week. They are our first two. They're 1-2. Go check out that video. Um, Only thing to say is Cardinals have Vikings up next. Adam, how do you feel about that matchup?
If the Cardinals aren't coming to play, the Vikings are. And for the Seahawks, as of right now, we have a 28.6 chance to win the NFC West. So with that, if they take a loss right there, please. Um, so the only thing about the Seahawks right now is that 28.6% chance, and we came in with like no chance to win the NFC West, mind you. Like it was like in the
especially after
single
the
digits.
if you would have told us like 2 weeks ago that we had
Oh
a
yeah.
yeah, because I think the win from I think I was on the Bump and Stacy show and on Seattle Sports Radio where we
hmm
went from this win took us from an 8% chance to make the playoffs to like a 28 or 30 almost. It was some
Yeah.
insane.
28.6, but you can round it down or up. Either way, that's very close. We're almost at 30% with that, and we have the Cardinals again in 2 weeks, so we need the sweep. We have to like we can't because if we split everything like with every team in here 1-1, it's best of record at that point. So yeah. Otherwise, Seahawks just hold on. Like we have the Jets. We'll talk more in the preview, but the only question with the Jets game is which Aaron Rodgers are we going to see?
I mean,
Hopefully, it's the bad one, and we get that dub.
man, they were saying that they were going to bench him just for the rest of the season. I don't even know what the fuck is going on.
I
It, it,
wish. I hope. I
it is
hope.
it is not fun being a fan of a New York football franchise right now. Let's just say
Oh yeah,
a New York
for
City
sure.
a New York City football franchise. Unless you're a Buffalo fan, they're having
Well, look,
fun up there.
hold up now, because a lot of people will be like, yeah, they're a New
They're in
York
New
Jets fan, but
Jersey.
they're in New Jersey, the New Jersey Jets. I
And
will say that
the
here.
49ers aren't in San Francisco. We can cut this down however we want it to cut down.
That is very true. They're just they're down the street.
Yeah. But yeah,
On
it's
to
going to be a
if we
tough
move
matchup.
to yeah, because if we move to the Cardinals, I hope they lose against the Vikings. They are currently. It's funny. They came into that game with the Seahawks with 73.4% chance to win. After the loss, they're now down to 53.3% chance.
Still better than
So
us, but we're on the
yeah,
up.
that's just because I think it's because they also beat because they beat the 49ers the first time
Yeah.
around while we lost, and I think they beat the Rams too, or did they lose against the Rams?
Man, you just like think about these games that we should have won and we wouldn't even be in this conversation.
Isn't that every team right now? Like
Yeah.
man, like for instance, if you were a Houston Texans fan, y'all lost against the Titans, the 2-8 team. So I mean, I know how that I'm not saying your team's bad. It's just one of those games.
Yeah.
So it's like you could have just won that game and it would have been all better. But at the very least, Cardinals that was their first time to start taking the reins of the division. But they lost this. They lost that game as they should have.
And it was a
Um,
little bit of an oddball situation for Seattle as well too. I think we had lost 4 home games, or we might have even been 0-4, or maybe 1-4 coming into this week. And so
mhm.
we needed to get that home win because we have our home field advantage is what we stand by, and if it's not there, then who are we?
No facts. Who are we at that point? Because
Yeah.
I'm still kind of asking that question of who are we, but at the end of the day, it's up to I think these next two games for every team is going to be very crucial, if not next three.
Yeah.
So, for us, we have the Jets and then we go back to the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, they have the Vikings, and of course they're back to us.
Yeah.
So
And to answer your question, we are a hard-nosed playing defense team, and I fucking love it.
yes, hopefully we can keep it up. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah. And so
um
moving on, do you want to talk
yeah.
about the Rams next?
Okay, you're the 5 and 6 Rams. They well for
Yikes.
one, yeah, yeah, yikes to the Eagles game. Two, yikes, they have a 9.4% chance to win the division right now. Even that's with a win on the Seahawks at the moment. But yeah, I mean that I think everyone has seen that game, and instead of seeing the Rams, they just saw Saquon Barkley. Um,
That guy had more yards than our entire team by himself, man.
Oh, of course, because 26 attempts for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's just rushing right now. And then he also had
He had a 70-yard touchdown run and a 72-yard touchdown run. Like, come on, man.
oh
Fuck.
yeah, and then he had 47 more yards in reception. So he had over
300.
300
Yeah.
yards, 300 scrimmage yards in total. Also, shout out to AJ Brown. He got 6 for 109 and a tutty over there as well. Either way, the Eagles they ran shop on the Rams. Although the Rams did put for what it's worth, they tried to come back starting in the third quarter because they only scored once in the first quarter and then they scored again in the third. So they tried to come back, but it didn't amount to much. That's why it was 37-20. I don't know what else to say about the Rams except that like can the Seahawks beat them when we go back and play them? With this new defense, can we not shoot ourselves in the foot when we eventually face the Rams way down the stretch? I think that's our last game if I remember correctly. If not, like second to last game. Regardless, it's towards the end of the season.
The shooting
So,
ourselves in the foot happens a lot on special teams and on offense. So that's where I mean, I say we're a hard-nosed playing defense playing team, then, that's where we're confident. But those other two, I mean, we've been getting better, but we've also kind of slowed down on the offense as well. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just hoping that game doesn't matter at that point. Can I just hope that?
well, at this point with interdivision games, especially when you
I
look at
know.
the standings as they are, unfortunately they're going to matter. Like basically, if we did what we were supposed to, we can actually afford a couple losses or so. But unfortunately, right now we're just trying to play for play for the division, then play for that playoffs, a higher playoff spot.
Yeah.
So
And I mean,
right
the
now,
real
yeah,
loser
go
in
ahead.
this game was the New York Giants fans out there. But you can have your moment. We'll give you guys your moment in a bit here. But
Yeah.
the Rams have, if you didn't have anything left on that one, the Rams have New Orleans up next, and so
Mm.
New Orleans is
Man,
one.
New Orleans is tough. Like their defense is always tough. I can't speak on the offense, but the defense tough
Yeah,
every time.
and I mean, they fired Dennis Allen, so defensive minded coach,
Mm.
but it's just such a tough thing to gauge. Like I'm always like Saints always pull out some weird ass like randomly blowout performance against teams, right? And so
That's fine. Let it be against the Rams, please.
and I mean, so the remaining schedule for Rams includes New Orleans. It also has Buffalo in there. They go out and play the Jets as well.
They have a
Yeah.
tough next set of games ahead of them. It's to the point where like we have a little bit of a weaker schedule compared to them, except for when we get to the NFC North. Those games are going to be, especially even with the Bears, even with the Bears, but we still got the Vikings and Green Bay too as well. So
Yeah,
I mean, we have our share of games coming up too. It's like it's basically how do we handle the NFC North teams? That's for everybody because Vikings Vikings is facing the Cardinals. Buffalo, not well, Buffalo's is AFC East, but they had to face Buffalo and stuff like no, two of their next three games, yeah, Buffalo Bills and 49ers, which we'll see how that works out. Hopefully interdivision helps in our favor as well. So I don't who would you want to win against between the 49ers and Rams then?
probably the Rams. I fucking hate the Niners.
Yeah, and we'll just deal with the Rams.
Yeah.
No one goes to a LA Rams home game anyway. It's always the other team that
Yeah,
comes
they
down.
always do. I mean, maybe it's just Eagles fans, but they fucking took over SoFi, dude.
Yeah, the thing with the Rams, they moved from St. Louis to LA, and then you're trying to establish the Rams. You did get a Super Bowl, but I don't think it was enough to like get a lot. You did get a good chunk of people though happy in the LA though, so among other things. But I have nothing else on the Rams.
All right, let's go on to the 49ers.
Ooh,
Four,
injury, the season of injury, my man.
oh no, we only have five first team all pro players now. Okay, fuck off. Nope. If you want sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. My dad told me that when I was 6 years old. I
That's
was like, Daddy,
funny.
what's syphilis?
Yo, that's wild, man. That's wild.
Anyway,
Um,
he's a good guy.
so for San Francisco, they did not have they didn't have Brock Purdy. He was injured. I don't think they didn't play him for that game, and they had who they have playing?
Brandon
They had
Allen.
Brandon Allen. Yeah, Brandon Allen. He went 17 for 29, 199 yards, one touchdown, one interception.
Maybe I'm a little too.
Serviceable, but against yeah, what's up?
I was gonna say maybe I'm a little too harsh on. I think I'm starting to think I'm maybe a little too harsh on Brock Purdy. If he makes that big of a difference. Sorry, I think you kind of cut out in the middle. Maybe I started talking over you a little bit.
It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, with a performance like that, I mean, I think the fact that they held CMC to 11 rushes for 31 yards might be the bigger headline. Um,
Have to probably like dumb down the offense or something like that with Brandon Allen. But granted, couldn't do much. They only had 197 total yards passing, 44 rush yards. It just wasn't their game. Green Bay took their lunch and
yeah.
everything.
And, you know, I don't want it to be lost. Like Josh Jacobs had a career game. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that he put 300 yards up on us a couple years
No,
back.
no, because we're facing him again. I don't
Yeah.
want him to do that. you take that negativity out of here. Don't put that on my spirit.
He just hangs up on me.
Click.
But anyway,
Don't
I mean,
remind me, bro.
106 yards with 3 touchdowns. Somebody won fantasy that off of Josh Jacobs back that week.
And Love had 13 or he had 163 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and you know it was a quietly efficient game, and you can do that when your run game is going, and that is the Kyle Shanahan offense. It's the Matt LaFleur offense. It's all of these Shanahan.
Didn't Matt LaFleur didn't he come from the Shanahan system too?
He was on Mike Shanahan's coaching
Yeah.
staff, I think.
Yeah. This is like two good friends are like, hey, I'm about to face him again, and oof,
Dude,
38-10.
Mike Shanahan's influence on the league is crazy. Between him, McVay, LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, what's his fuck from Dolphins?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. I don't have the name on the top of my head.
yeah. And so,
But yeah. Otherwise, Kittle had something. Kittle was serviceable, as every quarterback loves to go to Kittle. You know, if you get in a game, it's like, who's open? Kittle. There you go, buddy.
I mean, they were talking about how Kittle is important to the run game, but it obviously didn't come out this week. And, you know, that was the excuse last week that we didn't have George Kittle and he's really important for our run game. Well, you had him this week. I mean,
Now they don't have Brock Purdy, so they're going to say we didn't have our starter, Brock Purdy. It would have been a closer game. I would hope so. But here's the thing. The 49ers fans, like, your season started strong. It started real strong, but all these injuries have stacked up, and it's taking a toll. Like,
Yeah.
you're losing games. I guess if you want to say, like, certain members of your team, without them being out there, that might cost you a game or two. And especially at this point in the season,
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I come off as tough love, but I do get it with like guys like Brandon Ayuk going down with a season-ending injury.
oh yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, obviously your best player. Don't get it twisted like the fucking Giants did and say that, you know, Brock Purdy is your best player. It's CMC. It's your running back. That is the quarterback for your team. He was not there for the first half of this season.
They need to come up with who is their quarterback, because this is Brock Purdy's contract year.
Yeah. And so
So
you're not going to be able to pay everybody. And so, I mean, if you're a Niners fan, you're probably closer to the end of your window unless you can find a way to magically retool. But I mean, it's kind of interesting because we have a lot of respect for Kyle Shanahan, I think, between me and you.
the Shanahan family, if you will.
The Shanahan family, but specifically Kyle Shanahan and for and Sean McVay, like what these guys have done for offensive philosophy in this league. But there is, at least in the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, there is a growing population of people that are calling for Kyle Shanahan to be fired, and I don't quite understand where that's coming from.
I think it might just be because you have to also understand Kyle Shanahan went to the Super Bowl and lost
Multiple times.
and multiple times. So like it's also like when Jason Garrett was on the Cowboys, like how long do you keep, even if you're successful, you're 10, 11 win seasons, but you go one out in the playoffs, right? How do you at some point something has to change, right? Especially, would you say that Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired after this season? in your opinion?
I wouldn't like. I mean,
Because that offense is gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen with the offense when he goes though. That's the thing.
I don't think you're gonna have the same level of success that you did before. And I mean, there is he will be he won't be unemployed for long. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, at the very least, he can go. If he was to get let go as a head coach, I think he can go somewhere else as a head coach still before he gets pushed down to like as an offensive coordinator. That will be a lot if he were to leave the 49ers and excuse me and become a an offensive coordinator or something. That's just
Dude, he
disrespectful.
doesn't need to go back to being an offensive coordinator. He's had so much success as a head coach. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. It's not like Cliff.
Somewhere.
It's not like Cliff Kingsbury, who had his go at being a head coach in the NFL, and obviously I think he was a head coach at the college level. I think it was at Texas
Yep.
Tech, and he had his go coaching adults, and that didn't pan out, and now he is an extremely successful coordinator. Kyle
For
Shanahan
the
has.
for the Commanders, which I mean, I know they had a loss this week, but they did really well. They did
Yeah,
really well for the season.
yeah, and let's say that Kyle Shanahan, if there's only one Super Bowl winner every year, like that's just how it is. I mean, I think what you got to be looking more at is the roster, because the injuries that these players are getting are starting to rack up, and they're going to be recurring, and they're going to keep happening more often, and so they're going to have to maybe do like a little bit of a reboot at some point. And you're not going to.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to because Brock
Brock
Purdy
Purdy's
has
going
to
to need
get
to get paid.
paid.
Yeah,
He's one of few players that has to get paid on that team, which I know they paid some this season. So I think he's at least the biggest one because Brock Purdy went all the way to a Super Bowl. Just like here's the thing, he went to the Super Bowl just like Joe Burrow did. And Joe Burrow asked for top dollar.
yeah, and he
So
and Joe Burrow is actually kind of an interesting case study right now, because we talked
he
about
is the offense. He is the
we
offense. What
talked
you
about
mean?
I think we talked about how maybe before we even started recording, how we were saying Russ, Godspeed, whatever happens. I think
Hmm.
you mentioned that he's having a good year, but I think I said that the Steelers are kind of carrying him, and he
That's
just
fair.
doesn't have to make his mistakes. The exact opposite is true for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is carrying them. I've never seen a stat line like that where he's got like 3,000 yards passing already or something crazy like
Bro, he's
that.
throwing it all. He's
He's
just throwing
slinging,
it.
though.
He's just throwing it to his receiver, and that's it. Like, and they're having a ball, but then it's
He's
like
just a chill guy trying to win football games, man.
your kicker lets you down, your defense lets you down, and all that stuff. I don't know. Like, can you have like an outstanding quarterback, but the team just makes it to where you can't win games, even when they're doing well? Like, I threw 6 touchdowns this game, bro. It's not enough.
Yeah,
We'll
and
find a way to lose still.
I mean, a lot of quarterbacks are going to be learning that. Like, maybe they're going to have to I mean, everybody's got to go out there and get their money, man. That's just how it is. I mean, that's just how you got to be in life.
That's everybody, and I
Yeah,
want people to get their money. It's up to the teams if they want to pay it or not, because you'll
yeah,
see a team say, bye. Like we'll let people go. Like we didn't pay certain people that I believe we should have paid on the offensive line.
yeah. And
So
we're regretting it now. Like Damian Lewis,
yep,
how you doing?
he's having a good year. So at the end of the day, 49ers fans, you're gonna be paying people, and this was the season that y'all needed to go Super Bowl or bust. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all because Brock Purdy got to get paid, and you can't keep everyone on this team.
I mean, Debo. I mean, he's a shell of himself. He's probably going to go. Um,
Is this in his last year on the contract though with them?
I don't think so, but he might just end up. They might just trade him away.
Oh,
Somebody like.
but that's only if I would say you're going to trade all away all these hot because right now you got talent on the 49ers on the 49ers in general, defense and offense and special teams. If they were to fire their head coach, it depends on how the rest of this year goes out. But if they go on a bad end the rest of this year and they are still losing, they don't go above 500, you might see Kyle Shanahan out the door, and a lot of those players either traded or basically traded for draft picks. It's one of those moments, unless they get a new head coach and head coach is like, I like everybody, keep it the same.
Yeah, no
Different offense
change.
though, different offense though, but keep it the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough. And what's going to be even tougher is that they got the Bills up next. And if
Yep.
Brandon Allen is still out there playing, it's not going to be a fun week for you.
It's not because we faced the Bills. Just said, man, y'all are imploding over there. We don't mind playing y'all today because we imploded against the Bills. Bills are just going at it. So on the AFC side, like that is your litmus test. Because here's my thing for the 49ers fans: I want you to watch that Bills game. I want you to watch it down to the greatest detail because this is your litmus test of if you're a playoff team or not at this point in the season. Because with your injuries,
Yeah.
because some of the other players ain't coming back from those injuries for this season.
Yep. And so that rounds us off for the NFC West. Yeah. Any last thoughts on any of these teams before we sign off here?
Man, I hope we win the division. That's my last thoughts. At this point, after these after these set of games, I want us to keep this going. I don't know how long, but again, because like we said before, like we're not going to be upset if we were to lose out the rest of the season. We just want to see what happens. And honestly, things are good right now.
Things are good. I mean,
We're
we're
back up.
due to my emotions, dude.
My emotions.
Anyways, well, hopefully come this time next week, we'll be telling you that Seahawks won again. Be sure to tune into that video. We'll be talking about the Seahawks with their upcoming matchup against the Jets, and that's all we have here for you guys over at Missed Reps. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Peace.